Think getting your hands on a solid 1911 in 2025 means draining your savings? Not even close. These pistols pack the look and feel of high-dollar custom rigs, but your wallet barely flinches. We're talking forged steel frames, tight-fitting barrels, and crisp, clean trigger pulls, all without that boutique price tag. Let's take a look at 7 standout 1911s that punch way above their weight. One of these deserves a spot in your gun safe, no question about it. Ruger SR 1911. I've always tipped my hat to Ruger for building gear that holds up, but the SR 1911 took that respect and cranked it up a notch. This ain't just another copy of the old Workhorse, it's Ruger's own refined take on a classic, and they flat out nailed it. Right out of the gate, the full stainless steel build caught my eye. Both the slide and frame are precision machined, and the finish work? Sharp as a tack. It don't just look like a quality piece, it runs like one too. What really sold me was the detail work. Ruger cuts the barrel and the barrel bushing from the same chunk of bar stock on the same machine. That kind of craftsmanship gives you solid, repeatable lockup and tight groups, shot after shot. The trigger's a smooth operator, breaking right around 4.5 pounds. And Ruger made a smart call on the fire control setup. They use a titanium firing pin paired with a heavy spring. That means you get a clean trigger pull without having to mess with a firing pin block. You still get peace of mind, but with a better feel at the break. There are plenty of thoughtful touches too, an oversized ejection port for clean throws, an extended mag release, and even a chamber check window so you can eyeball whether you're hot or not. The thumb safety and grip safety are right where they ought to be, and they run smooth as butter. I've put in long afternoons running drills with this thing, and it never once felt like work. For right around $829, the SR 1911 gives you real deal performance that can go toe-to-toe with pistols twice the price. It's the kind of sidearm you hang on to and one you'll be proud to pass down. And I'll be honest, every time I pull that trigger, it leaves me grinning. Rock Island Armory GI Standard FS. Now here's one for the folks who like to keep things simple and true to form. If you've ever wanted a pistol that feels like the old school 1911 A1 service gun without dropping a pile of cash on a collector's piece, the Rock Island Armory GI Standard FS hits the mark. It's plain, rugged, and packed with old-fashioned charm. I picked this one up hoping to get as close as I could to a World War II-era shooter, minus the historic price tag. What I got was a no-frills, straight-shooting chunk of classic design, chambered in. 45 ACP with a 5-inch barrel, it's a bruiser sitting just under 2.5 pounds. That extra weight? It soaks up recoil like a sponge and gives you that solid, trustworthy feel only a full-size sidearm delivers. What really got me was how well this thing's put together. Even with the basic GI-style sights and simple controls, it shot better than expected and grouped tight. And get this, each one of these is hand-fit and checked to strict tolerances. That ain't something you usually hear about a pistol that costs less than $500. Now don't expect any bells and whistles, no skeletonized this, no fancy that, and no rail hanging off the front. What you do get is honest to goodness, 1911 bones, all steel construction, traditional operation, and that deep. Satisfying thunk each time you pull the trigger. For me, it felt like stepping into a time machine. This is the kind of pistol that ties you right back to history every time it barks. Whether you're a military buff or just want to feel what a real wartime sidearm handled like, the GI Standard FS earns its place in your lineup. Springfield Armory Mil-Spec 1911. First time I laid hands on the Springfield Armory Mil-Spec, it felt like I was shaking hands with a piece of military history, but with a few sharp modern upgrades under the hood. This ain't just some throwback for looks, it's a no-nonsense, duty-ready sidearm built to run hard. And at its price point, you're getting more than your money's worth. Let's take a closer look. Both the frame and slide are forged from carbon steel, not cast, which already sets it ahead of a whole lot of pistols in the same price bracket. That forged build gives it rock-solid durability and a feel in the hand that says, I'm here to work. Now toss in a 5-inch stainless steel match-grade barrel and you've got yourself a real tack driver. Shot after shot, it stays steady, tight, and true. Unloaded, it comes in at right around 40 ounces, no featherweight, but that weight eats up recoil and keeps your sights on target. It handles the 45 ACP like a pro, smooth, balanced, and fast to recover. The 3-dot combat sights snap into view quick, even when the light's getting low. And the ejection port's been lowered and flared, which means no stovepipes and no slowdowns. What I like most is how this pistol walks the line between old and new. You get the classic spur hammer and standard grip safety. But everything's tuned and finished to modern standards. It ain't flashy, but it sure is sharp. Whether you're running drills, carrying for defense, or just cutting holes in targets on a Saturday, the Mil-Spec earns its keep. Used models tend to float around $700, and brand spanking new ones can be found for about $1,000. At that price, you're not just buying a pistol, you're making an investment that proves itself every time you rack the slide. Springfield Armory Garrison. When I first picked up the Garrison, I figured it'd shoot well enough. What I didn't expect was a pistol that felt like a $1,200 custom build at darn near half the price. Springfield knocked this one clear out of the park. This model's a perfect mix of old school looks and real-world performance. You've got two finishes to choose from: bright stainless or deep blued carbon steel. I went with the blued one myself. It just oozes that vintage class, like something your granddad might have carried. But don't let the looks fool you, this thing's built to run. The slide and frame are both forged steel, none of that cast stuff, so you're getting tight tolerances and serious strength. No loose slide wiggle or corner cutting here. It runs smooth right out of the box. Comes with a 5-inch match grade barrel, and mine proved itself from the first magazine. I ran a variety of 45 ACP loads through it, no feeding issues, solid accuracy. Groups were tight, recoil was easy to manage, and the crisp single action trigger breaking right around 4.5 to 5 pounds made every shot feel clean. You also get low-profile 3-dot sights, a nicely done extended beaver tail grip safety, and a skeletonized hammer. So while it sticks to the classic 1911 silhouette, it brings in just the right touches to make it a joy to carry and shoot today. No fluff, no gimmicks, just good, honest craftsmanship. At a street price right around $700, it's easily one of the best values out there for a solid 1911. Shoot it once, and I'd bet money you'll be planning for a second. ATI FXH-45 Moxie. Now here's one that don't exactly follow the herd, the ATI FXH-45 Moxie. At first glance, it sure ain't your granddad's 1911. It's got a polymer frame reinforced with steel inserts, and I'll be honest, that hybrid setup gave me pause. But once I got it out on the range, I came around quick. The polymer frame drops the weight quite a bit, making it easier to tote and quicker to bring on target. But ATI wasn't foolish. They reinforced key points like the rails and barrel lock up with steel, so you're still getting strength where it counts. I was expecting that lightweight frame to kick a little more with 45 ACP, but it surprised me. Recoil was real manageable, and the balance felt right in the hand, especially for a pistol that costs less than $600. The controls are what you'd expect: beaver tail grip safety, Novak-style sights, and a skeletonized hammer. It leans a little modern in look, sure, but underneath, it still holds that 1911 soul. The trigger's solid, not quite match-grade sharp, but plenty good for range work and personal defense. Now, the old-school crowd might take a minute to warm up to it, but if you've got an open mind and don't mind mixing a little new tech with old bones, the FXH-45 Moxie is worth a hard look. It's light, it's reliable, and it walks its own trail, and I respect that. Tisas 1911 Duty. When I first picked up the Tisas 1911 Duty, I'll shoot straight with you. I figured it was just another bargain bin import. A Turkish-made 1911 for under $500? I braced myself for a rattle trap with a trigger like a rusty barn door hinge. But I'll tell you what, I couldn't have been more wrong. Soon as I opened the case, it gave off a whole different feel. You're looking at a forged steel frame and slide knot that cast junk you usually see in this price range. Right there, it's already a cut above the herd in terms of strength and long-haul reliability. The fit? Tight as a tick. No rattle, no slop, just clean lines and smooth action. It racks like a pistol that costs twice as much. Now the trigger, I was bracing for that gritty, squishy feel you get with budget guns. But what I got was a crisp, clean break with barely a whisper of creep. Made me check the price tag again just to be sure. Novak-style sights are simple and sharp, and the extended beaver tail grip safety locks in real nice, gives you that confident hold. Throw in ambi thumb safeties, and southpaws are good to go too. I fed it a mess of. 45 ACP from cheap range stuff to premium self-defense rounds, and it rained 'em all like a champ. Didn't so much as hiccup. If you're looking to get into the 1911 world without cleaning out your bank account, this one swings way above its weight class. Truth is, it's got me wondering why more companies aren't building to this standard at this price. The Tisas duty flat out changed how I see budget guns. Charles Daly 1911 Superior Grade. Charles Daly might not be the first name that comes to mind when folks talk about 1911s, but the Superior Grade lives up to the name. I picked one up mostly out of curiosity, and sure enough, it ended up being one of the biggest surprises in my whole safe. The build quality's real solid. It's got a forged slide and frame that lock up tight with no slop at all, and every control's got a confident, deliberate feel. The blued finish is deep and clean, giving it a look that punches well above what you'd expect from a pistol in the $600 range. As for performance, it runs clean right out of the gate. I've had no reliability issues, and while the white dot sights are pretty basic, they get the job done. I'll probably swap them out down the line, but they're fine for casual shooting. What really caught my attention was the trigger brakes smooth at around 4 to 5 pounds and had me stacking shots tighter than I expected, even at stretching distances. The grip and feel? Right on the money. Nothing sharp or awkward, just good, clean ergonomics that make it easy to stay on target. You get a few nice touches too, like the extended beaver tail and skeletonized trigger. But the real selling point is how well it all comes together. If you're in the market for a dependable, no-frills 1911 that doesn't break the bank or chase fads, the Superior Grade deserves a real good look. There you have it, 7 standout 1911s that prove you don't need to fork over $2,000 to get your hands on real-deal American iron. Whether you lean toward classic lines, modern materials, or a mix of both, every pistol on this list brings solid performance without draining your bank account. If this roundup gave you some food for thought, go ahead and tap that like button. Subscribe for more straight shooting reviews, and sound off in the comments with your favorite 1911 pick for 2025. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, shoot straight and stay sharp.